It's Saturday. Hold on just 1 second, guys. Give me 1 second. Okay, computer plugged in. We good? Everyone having a good Saturday so far? Christian Ballard Sports Media coming at you live on Saturday morning. I do have to go to work later. So, this past week, I talked about it with my grandmother, but also I kind of figured it out on my own. As fun as it can be, going live for college football games and trying to do either play by play or color commentary, it does not work out for me. So we're not going to do it. We're not going to do it anymore. Um, I'm here. We'll do a hangout. We'll do a live stream here. Happy Valley is the site to be on for college football here on November 2nd. We're in November. Is it Christmas time already? I know what you're thinking. That's in December, Ballard. I don't care. Come up with Thanksgiving songs and everything outside of Adam Sandler, and we'll be good. And if you can find me a Thanksgiving movie outside of Charlie Brown Thanksgiving, we'll be fine too. So I just wanted to say that. So it is that time of year, technically speaking. But we're live here. We got two watching at the moment, which I love and appreciate those two people. So what we'll do, so I was trying to log into ESPN. It never makes me log in though. I don't have my password. I thought I had it written down, but I was going to try to show you my picks for this week. Uh, I guess I could go to the ESPN app. I could do that because I'm logged in there. So for this season in 2024, um, which let me do something real quick. Okay. So we're 48 and 31 on the year. 48 and 31 is our record. We rank 66,000 somewhere, 86.2. I think we're doing better than last season in our picks. And of course, the big game is Ohio State at Penn State, 4 at 3. Corso shown on the um the television right now with the Buckeye helmet. He threw that down. He held up Penn State. He might pick them. I would take Penn State in a heartbeat. I just think that even though Ohio State's really, really good and probably motivated since losing to Oregon, even though that's the case, Penn State's due, right? When's the last time they beat? Was it 16? First off, let's look at Penn State versus Ohio State in this rivalry, which doesn't really have much of a name to it. Ohio State leads at 24-14. They're up by 10 games, which is you would think is sad for Penn State, but I think it's a little closer than you think it is. Ohio State's on a 7-game win streak. That's their longest. The largest victory for them came in 2013, 63-14. And Penn State won by the same score back in 94, which was 30 years ago. They first met November 16th, 1912, the year of the Titanic. Penn State won 37-0. Ohio State, of course, won last year 20-12, which was 8 points. So this here's the thing, even in Columbus and everything, this game's always close, right? Um, it was close 2 years ago in State College. It was well, the last two times it was played at State College, 2020 on Halloween, and then the 29th of October, 2022. Um, Ohio State won the last time in State College by 15, and then in 2020 they met and they won by 13. So interesting that it was really close in Columbus last year. So the last few times that Ohio State, outside of last year, they've been able to pull away. But still, you have to go back to a really close game in 2018. You go back to when Penn State won the last time in 2016 when they upset Ohio State. They say that's the game that put Franklin on the map. Of course, if he doesn't win this game, he might be on the hot seat. Well, I wouldn't say that. He's doing a fantastic job this year. I just think that he's due for it. So I'm going Penn State here. I really am. I think that he's up for the challenge. I think that he's ready to go. My picks this week, I do have Penn State winning as game day comes on. I think they're doing a stripe out for Penn State. Anyway, not the white out, but the stripe out, blue, white, whatever. So for the picks, I'm going Penn State. I'm going to go Ole Miss over Arkansas. We're going to go Illinois over Minnesota. I'm going to take a slight. I don't know if it's an upset because both these teams have similar records. I'm gonna go into the dome up north. I'm gonna say Syracuse takes a loss to Virginia Tech. Don't hold me to it too much. I'm gonna call a small upset there. I'll go A&M over South Carolina. Iowa and Wisconsin. I'll go Iowa, both 5-3. Credit there. I go South Alabama over Georgia Southern. Pitt and SMU is 50-50 toss up. I'll go Pitt. And we're coming to your city. Let's go. TCU Baylor. I'll go TCU. Colorado State, Nevada, not even close. Nevada's terrible. And I'm gonna say 48 points total. I don't really know much of a score prediction here other than 27-21 maybe for Penn State. 48 points total. I could do that. So those are my picks. McAfee. Saban's doing great this year on game day, I think. I'm not even just saying that as a Bama guy. His analysis is awesome. And he's giving into the crowd and everything. I mean, he's an entertainer now. He's still coach, but yeah, he's entertaining people now at this point. Pat McAfee, get it together. A little bit overboard, I think. But he's still good. I like McAfee. I do. I love his show. I just think he's added a little too much energy to college game day, like toned down a bit, you know. Um, but yes, it is Penn State, Ohio State today, Alabama on a bye, so we're not really going to highlight too much of them. Um, but it is what it is, I guess. What other games are on that we didn't highlight in the pick'em? What do we got here? Let's check out the schedule. We got a few people watching now. I love and appreciate you guys. So here's the schedule. We had some games this week. Tulane took out Charlotte, Western Kentucky, Kennesaw State. That looked like a good game. I watched a little bit of that. Liberty and Jacksonville State, let's go, won the game. For those that don't know, I'm in Alabama, so I kind of pull for all the teams in state without trying to be biased, if you get what I'm saying. UConn beat Georgia State. Okay. Dang, I must have missed this last night. I was at work. Boise State hung a 50 burger on San Diego State, gave up 24. Okay, I got to see some of these stats though. Let's go. No, I don't want the rankings. What are we doing? 21 nothing at the end of the first. Boise State would go up 35-10 at half. Shut them out in the third. Go up 42 to 10. And then they both kind of met in the middle there. San Diego State with 2 touchdowns in the fourth, along with Boise State with 2 touchdowns in the fourth. San Diego State needs some help. They got to get to a bowl game. Can they do it? I don't know. I really don't know. They're 3-5 with that loss. What else we got? So here's today's schedule. Not really too much from the past couple days. So Ohio State, Penn State, of course. Miami and Duke is always good. Miami's favored by 21 points. Is Miami, they still unbeaten right now? Let me see this. Yes. But I would say this, if there's any room for error, it's the next 2 weeks for Miami. Um, it would be Duke at Georgia Tech at Syracuse. I don't think they lose that weight game. But of those 3 I just mentioned, for Miami, Duke at home or at Hard Rock Stadium because it's not their stadium. We'll just say Hard Rock. Duke at Hard Rock. I can't help myself today. Y'all forgive me. Pray for me. Duke at home, Georgia Tech on the road, Wake, and then at Syracuse. I would say they lost to Tech last year at home, but this is a different Miami team. They're built well. They got Restrepo and guys. They just look phenomenal. I love what Cam Ward is doing this year. I love Damian Martinez at running back. Xavier Restrepo, I mentioned. Francis Mauigoa and Michelle Powell on the defensive side of the ball. When you look at it, Mauigoa has 2 sacks, but Simeon Barrow has 5.5. No picks for him, a pass defended, but he's off the edge on that defensive line. Simeon Barrow, 5.5 sacks for 39 yards is incredible. That's very incredible. I would take Miami in this game, but looking at this schedule, is this the most likely first loss of the season of those next 4 games? I think they beat Wake with a passion. Syracuse is 5-2, 2-2 in conference play. Uh, I would say this. I think at Georgia Tech is probably your most likely loss, if at any, because it's on the road. I think you got a better chance of beating Syracuse than you do Tech. Duke and Wake, of those 2 home games, I'd say Duke this morning is probably your first loss, more likely than Wake Forest. That's my personal opinion. I'd love to hear you guys in the comments. If you're watching this back, thank you. Jason Kelsey supposed to be on game day. They got a lot of guests, and Keegan Michael Key is the guest picker, which I love because he. Have y'all seen this? Have y'all seen where Keegan Michael Key does the James Franklin impersonation? It is hilarious. I'm pulling this up real quick and I'm playing it. Don't copyright me, YouTube, because it's hilarious. Hold on. You got to know James Franklin to get Keegan impression. I think it's this one. It's from like 6 years ago. It's from like 6 years ago.
Coach Franklin is not too busy. Oh, look at that run. That is unreal.
He's a better stride than James.
Here he comes. All right, Spice, take it away.
Hey, we got Coach Franklin here. How are you going to run things the second half?
You know, I'm going to try to keep it loose here the second half. During the first half, I think we had a lot of little mix-ups here, little mental situations. We're gonna clean all that up right now. You have to forgive me, a little out of breath just from the 15 yards I ran.
Right.
But I should be okay in a second. So we're just gonna execute. We're gonna take opportunities to the next level.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Any particular play that you're going to run that we should look out for?
We're probably gonna run the double six wombat, 42 jet left, pie, slide ruler, lightning six, stubble smoke, ukulele.
Okay, ukulele, correct?
Wait a second. There's a guy over here who's not in uniform. He's supposed to be here. I gotta go home.
Coach.
Look at him run.
That's too fast.
He's
too fast.
Spice is trying. Keep up with him.
Coach.
Did.
He really did. That's funny.
He's the guest coach here. He was out in the first half.
I love it. I absolutely love it. What's up, Nick D? How you doing, brother? Love you, man. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, Keegan Michael Key's hilarious. Him and Jordan Peele's show. I don't think does it still air? I know I see clips of it all the time, but like I don't know if it's still on the air, but they were a good duo, Key and Peele. And then just especially Keegan Michael Key, like he's straightforward. Good to hear from you. Good to see you, Nick D. Good to hear from you, man. Keep it up. Keep showing up. I'll keep showing up. For real. What other games we got here today? Penn State, Ohio State, Miami, Duke, Ole Miss at Arkansas. What's that line? 7.5 miss. So Mississippi is 7.5 over Arkansas. Minnesota at Illinois. Minnesota by 3. Is that right? I gotta check this out because Illinois is ranked 6-2 versus 5-3. Illinois at home with the better record, and they're ranked, but they favor the Gophers by 3. That is interesting. I don't know if I want to touch that. UAB plays Tulsa today. Oregon at Michigan. I got to see this. Is this the first loss for Oregon, you think? Vegas says no. ESPN Bet says no. 14.5 point spread for Oregon as they talk about it on the television too. I think Oregon could win that game outright. I really do. Michigan could also play spoiler and scare. Speaking of Halloween, but Dylan Gabriel, Evan Stewart, just incredible duo. Am I off today? No, I go in at 2. I just wanted to do a pregame stream. I'll get to watch some of the Penn State game. Then I got to get going to work. I go in at like 2 or 3, so work's been good. Catching up on these comments. What's up, Gamecock Chuck? Good to see you. Oregon's undefeated. Michigan coming off the Michigan State win 24-17 last week. They lost 2 games to Illinois and Washington. Rematch there of last year's title game. What other games we got? What about A&M, South Carolina? 7-1 A&M, still alive for the playoffs. South Carolina Looking for a bowl, I guess. Looking for an upset here to not knock A&M out, because Notre Dame. Well, I'm thinking of that Notre Dame loss, but A&M, undefeated in conference play, could take a loss, still make the SEC title. They are atop the standings right now. They play Texas, I think, at home at the end of the year. All right, let's look at Nick D's picks. K-State minus 13.5. Indiana minus 7.5. Navy 11. South Carolina 3.5. And Army 21. Are you taking South Carolina with an upset, or is it going to be a 1 or 2 point game or a field goal? Because they would have to. That A&M could win by 3 or less. If it's 3.5, South Carolina would be taken with the points. I got to know how you got that game going. Do you see upset, or do you just see A&M not covering? I would take South. I think South Carolina. I could see that, but A&M still wins. 7.5 for Ole Miss and Arkansas. I would take Arkansas in those points, but probably still high scoring. What if Arkansas wins today? They're going bowling. Ole Miss loses, they're out of the playoff race. They're not taking a 3-loss team. They're already 6-2, and they lost to LSU and A&M. Not to mention Ole Miss just is. Well, let me say this: Kentucky and LSU. I was looking at Arkansas's losses. I'm sorry. So Ole Miss has lost to LSU in overtime a couple weeks ago. Kentucky, and that's it. But they're not making the playoffs. They could win today. They could beat Florida. They could win the Egg Bowl. But they got in between all of that. They got Georgia. Now it is at home. It is at home. Georgia has not lost since the Bama game. They're really, really good. They've looked great every single week. They upset Texas big time. Now here's the thing. They go to Ole Miss. Georgia does on the 9th. Would they overlook for Tennessee? Could they catch them napping a bit? That's possible, but I think Georgia will win that game. I just do. Oh, let me drop the StreamYard link. I'll drop the link for you guys. I thought I already did that. That's all me. If anyone wants to come on at any time, they're welcome. I don't care. We're just kind of hanging out this morning, talking some football. I haven't really talked football this week. I've been working a lot, so. Who's texting me this early? Ole Miss, Arkansas. What other games? Oregon, Michigan. We talked about Indiana. So I had talked about this the other day. I clipped it. I made a video. What are the team? So Penn State, Indiana, and who else in the Big Ten right now? But they don't play each other. Okay. So here's the scenario. Here's the scenario in the Big Ten: Oregon, Penn State, Indiana. No particular order. All undefeated overall and in conference play, but they don't play each other. How do you leave a team out if they win out? What's the tiebreaker? They don't play each other. Now Penn State plays Ohio State today, but let's say Penn State wins. After that, there's really not much room for error on Penn State's schedule remaining. I mean, Washington, at Purdue, at Minnesota, Maryland. I mean, I guess that at Minnesota game could be tough. Maryland's not really good. Purdue is at the bottom. Washington's 4-4. They're okay. But let's say this. Let's say Penn State wins out. Let's say Oregon wins out and does their thing. Let's say Indiana wins out. What are you going to do with 3 undefeated Big 10 teams? How are you going to break that tie? There's going to be the one team that gets left out, and it's it's going to be chaos, which I love it. I love it. It's awesome. I don't know how you would um I mean, do you go based on strength of schedule? Because I mean, it's all the Big Ten, right? It's all Big Ten. I know that conference games are based on conference performance and conference wins and record. But if these teams don't play each other and you end up with those 3 undefeated Big Ten teams, you can only get 2 in. What's the tiebreaker? Do you just flip a coin? Do you take I think you obviously have Oregon, but it comes down to Penn State, Indiana, right? Or do you obviously have Penn State and it comes down to Oregon, Indiana? I don't know if Indiana is obvious. I just don't. I don't. I don't think. I don't know. But Penn State and like this, or Nick Saban in a Penn State hoodie, like a lion hoodie, and it's awesome. He's still wearing it on the set. I love Coach. I love it. So, yeah, this is interesting. Indiana, Oregon, and Penn State don't play each other at all. Like Indiana does not play Oregon or Penn State, and the same could be said for Oregon and Penn State. They just don't play each other. Now they play Ohio State. Oregon took care of Ohio State. I think Indiana plays Ohio State. Yeah, on the road. Okay, so let's assume Indiana loses that Ohio State game. It won't be them. But then you get Oregon, Penn State, then so but I think it's gonna be Oregon and Penn State because I think Penn State can win today. I really do. But let's say this. Let's say Penn State wins today. But let's say also at the same time, what if Indiana's better than we think, even though they are undefeated right now and they've looked good defensively and offensively? Let's say they beat Michigan State today. They beat Michigan, they beat Ohio State, and then they beat Purdue, which they will. What if? What if Indiana wins out? I think that's the scenario we're looking at is what does Indiana do? Because they got to go to the shoe in Ohio State. I don't think they win that game. I do think that's their loss, and I think that takes care of a little bit of a tiebreaker. But at the same time, um, you just never know. I mean, it's college football in 2024, but Indiana's got to worry about Michigan State today, which I think they'll win. I think it'd be close. Favored by 8. It's at Michigan State at Spartan Stadium in East Lansing. Bryant Wesco is questionable for Clemson against Louisville tonight. Clemson is 8-0 all time against Louisville. Began back in 2014, and 5 of those wins are at home. And they're 6-1 overall this year. Clemson is still have not lost since that Georgia game. I would take Clemson in the ACC right now. I take Clemson against Miami in the ACC title. They do not play each other in the regular season. Also, SMU does not. Oh, okay. So it's not just the Big Ten. The ACC has Clemson, Miami, and SMU. Clemson doesn't play Miami. And looking at SMU's schedule, the SMU doesn't play Miami or Clemson. Hold up. Now they play Pitt, who's 3-0 and undefeated overall. But let's say they beat Pitt today or tonight. It's 7 o'clock. Clemson's loss is to Georgia. Miami's unbeaten. SMU's loss is to BYU, who's in the Big 12. So you're going to have the Big 10 and you're going to have the ACC with at least 3 teams that don't play each other that are atop the conference right now. How are you going to Oh my gosh, this is why we love college football, folks. This is why we love it. SMU, Miami, Clemson don't play each other and they're atop the ACC right now. Undefeated in conference play. Much like Penn State, Indiana, Oregon in the Big Ten. This is awesome. How do you do these tiebreakers? You got to do more than a couple coin flips, right? Or maybe that's all you do is coin flips. Ohio State, Indiana. No, Penn State, Indiana, and Oregon don't play each other, all unbeaten right now. Then you got Miami. Who did I say? Hold on. Let me look at the standings. Penn State, no, ACC now. Miami, SMU, and Clemson don't play each other. But Clemson plays Pitt, who's unbeaten in the conference play. So someone's got to lose that Clemson and Pitt game. But then you look at Clemson, Miami, and SMU don't play each other this year. And they're the 3 teams atop the ACC. Tulsa, UAB. They want Trent Dilfer gone. He hasn't won since Alcorn State. He's 1-6. I mean, they are mad about Trent Dilfer's losing record this year. Really mad. So Is Lou live? That might be why. Let me see. If Lou's live, I'll get off, but yeah, I'm gonna go watch Lou. We at this moment have only one watching. Thank you, viewer. I love and appreciate you. I love all you guys. Hey, we're gonna get out of here. Had fun, and just wanted to come on pregame Ohio State, Penn State, and again, I would say Penn State gets the W. I would say somewhere in the likes of 28, 24, 27, 21, something like that. I think Penn State could do it. So, anyway, love you guys. Enjoy your college football Saturday. Jesus loves you. God bless. And from a Bama fan, like I always
Roll
say,
Tide!
roll tide. Love y'all. See